Hi there, Prairie Plant Girl here. Well, I wasn't planning on doing a video this morning, but I noticed something in my tomato patch and I think it's worth bringing you along for. We'll see if I can find the culprit or not, but I think I have tomato or tobacco hornworms in my garden here. Last night I noticed when I was walking through that I had a lot of frass along some boards that are beside my raised beds. And then this morning, I was grabbing a tomato here, and it was just covered with frass on top. And there's a few more around it. So I took that one, I cleaned it off. But there's a few more around it that have a bunch on as well. So I think I have tomato hornworms or tobacco hornworms. I know they are the larvae of the sphinx moth or the hummingbird moth, and I have had those in my yard on numerous occasions over the years. I haven't noticed a lot this year, but I'm thinking they must be here. I'm not totally worried about them because it's the end of the season here. It's August 23rd, I think. So I'm thinking that they don't eat the tomatoes, they defoliate the plants, which actually could be to my advantage because it could help. I have a lot of green tomatoes on here yet. It could help to ripen them up. But I would kind of like to have a look around and see what kind of population numbers I have here, if I can even find them. I've heard they're really hard to find. They're a green worm that can be up to 5 inches long. And then I believe the tomato hornworm has kind of yellow V's kind of marked on the back of it, and the tobacco hornworm has white little kind of V marks on the back of it. And I think they both have kind of like, I don't know, kind of like antenna things that protrude out of it. I forget, there's a special name for them that are red. But they're not poisonous or anything, they won't hurt you. From what I've read, they kind of start at the top of the plant, work their way down. So that's where we'll start. So like I said, common wisdom says to start at the top of the plants. Now my plants don't even look like they've been chewed or eaten. This is why I didn't really panic last night. And it was getting kind of dark, but I thought, well, I mean, I'm not panicked anyways. But I just don't actually, other than the frass, see signs of anything having chewed on my plants. There's absolutely nothing here that says to me my plants have been chewed. This, maybe? I might have broken that off though, myself. I would think from what people say with how destructive these things are that I would be seeing obvious damage. Well, here's a good sign though, not for finding the worms, but finding the predators. I'm going to take you down lower. I don't know how well you can see it there, but along this string that I'm using to hold my tomatoes up, there's a whole bunch of lacewing eggs. They hang their eggs almost from a thread, and they have this little white little dot at the end, and they have a whole bunch hanging there. And I can see a bunch on a leaf right there. I've been finding them on my tomatoes. There's a bunch in here though that won't get wiped off my tomatoes, so that's good because lacewings are a predator of these worms. But let's go a little further and see if we can find them. They also eat peppers, which I have in here. And if you look at my pepper leaves, right there, that leaf is just covered in frass. So let me look around here a bit. But again, the pepper plants don't look chewed at all either. I mean, I'm happy they're not looking chewed, but what's in here pooping all over my plants? There's got to be something doing it. Oh, there's another good thing. Can you see that? That's a ladybug. It's not focusing on it. Down there is a ladybug. They are also a predator of the hornworm and the tobacco worm. More importantly to me, they're a predator of aphids because I've had so many of them. Oh, more lacewing eggs and some aphids. See, I think that's what's attracted all the lacewings and the ladybugs over here. It's all the aphids. I just realized, I just solved the mystery, and it's ridiculous, and I probably shouldn't even post this, but I think it's a good lesson in why not to just run to chemicals right away, and to, you know, investigate. And like I said, I was going to just pick off what I had, and I wasn't going to worry too much because it's the end of the season, and just stay calm and don't panic as soon as you see signs of a pest in your yard, unless you can actually identify the pest, and then still, you know, you don't need to always go chemical. But see, I had lots of natural predators in my garden here, and that would probably help a lot to take care of the hornworms. We're at the end of the season, so they're not going to really damage my plants too bad. But then as I was going through here, I realized a few days ago I came in with a solid organic fertilizer, slow release, and sprinkled some around the base of these plants. And I remember the mosquitoes were eating me like crazy, and so I was just kind of tossing it around as much as I could to try and get it in the soil, and I never did come back and work it into the soil. Something else came up. And I think some of it hit the leaves of the tomatoes maybe. And I think that's what's going on, because I see no sign of damage on these plants. None. But I see this little, what looks like frass all over the place. So, yeah, if you think you have a pest in your yard and in your garden, don't just go reaching for sprays, even if they're organic. Don't just go trying to eradicate them until you've actually found them. Know exactly what you're dealing with, assess how much damage it's going to cause, and determine any other ways of taking care of it. You know, if I had gone in here and sprayed even an organic pesticide to try and get rid of these hornworms, other than like BT, if I'd used BTK, it would have only affected any other larvae of like butterflies and moths. But if I'd sprayed anything else, it would have affected those lacewings and ladybugs that are in my garden. And I certainly don't want to do that. But since we're here, while I was out here, I noticed that my jalapenos, I just picked a whole bunch, and I have quite a few on here again. So I'm going to pick a few of those, so all's not lost. My jalapenos are producing really nice sized peppers for what I'm used to anyway. And I think I'll have enough now that I'm going to get working on some batches of jalapeno poppers to get in my freezer for over the winter. And of course I'll eat a few now. If you're interested in my recipe for that, I do have a video, as well as a lot of other videos on ways to use jalapenos, so I'll put some links in the description for you for that. But the main lesson here is don't just jump to conclusions and start spraying things all over your garden when you think you have a pest. Let's get those jalapenos picked. I have two kinds of jalapenos in here. One is the standard jalapeno that I've been growing for years. It's just a generic Mackenzie Seeds jalapeno, and it's labeled Jalapeño Mild. And then this year I decided to try the Monet jalapeno. I can't remember. I think I got it from Vessi Seeds, but I'm not sure. I'll try and remember to look that up and write it down for you. I'm really liking those Monet, and I'm finding that some of my jalapenos have a bit more heat to them. So I'm guessing it's the Monet, though I know occasionally these ones that are mild have a little bit of heat too. I mean, it's nothing terrifying, just a little bit of extra heat, which I enjoy. But so I'm not sure if this plant, yeah, I did just pick these about a week ago, but it's hanging thick. Oops, I think I just half snapped this one off, so I'll take it, but that's not a very big. The Monet seem to be growing bigger peppers. Probably leave that one a bit. Well, maybe they're not as big as I thought they were when I was digging through here. There's lots on. Yeah, the Monets just start popping off. See, these nice sized peppers on these plants. So this one, see, it's already cracking. This is off the mild that I had. If you can see those with the plants behind them. And this is the Monet. And see how much just wider it is? It'd be easier for stuffing and working with in the kitchen compared to this. And that's what I found with the Monets, is they're just a little bit of a bigger. There's a hummingbird. I don't know if you can see that hummingbird. It's gone. Anyways, the Monets I've just found have been a nicer pepper, and I'll probably plant these from now on. Yeah, there wasn't as many hanging here that were actually ready to pick as I thought. One little dried up pepper here. Get rid of that so the plant doesn't think it's produced something there. But yeah, like these Monets aren't even like showing that cracking on them that, you know, the jalapenos usually have when they're ripe. So they could probably even get a bit bigger. I took 3 here. But yeah, I thought it looked like there's a lot more jalapenos on there than there was. There's lots of jalapenos, they're just not quite ready. But I still will probably do some work in the kitchen. We'll see. It was really overcast and calling for rain today, and now it's getting nicer. Yeah, lots on here. I don't know, the Monets don't seem to be as heavy of a producer as the other aromas. But they have nicer peppers. I might still grow both, just to get an abundance. 2 things from this video, I guess, that you could take with you, kind of a wonky video. 1, don't jump to conclusions when you think you see frass on your plants. Maybe think about if you've been tossing some fertilizer around like me. Maybe it's just me that gets a little forgetful like that. And obviously, I was messy because I can see it all over the ground here. But yeah, the mosquitoes were eating me like crazy that night. I should have just aborted the mission and waited for a better time. And the other thing I would say is these jalapenos, yeah, the Monets, they're making a nice, like a wider, fatter jalapeno. So if you like to do like stuffing jalapenos, like making like jalapeno poppers and things, then these are a great jalapeno for that. And they'll give you a little bit more bite than just the Jalapeño Mild that Mackenzie Seed sells. But the Jalapeño Mild, like the Mackenzie ones that I have, they are a lot heavier producers on the plants. Like I have probably 3 times as many jalapenos on the Mackenzie ones, and it seems like every time I pick them, there's way more on the plants. So if you're using them to like chop up, use for like rattlesnake bites or even cowboy candy, this is a nice size for that. Then I would probably go with these plants. And since I make all of those things, I'll probably continue to grow both. But I might plant a few more of these Monets. They are a nice jalapeno. So, and they're not all like hot or anything. They just have, I find just a little bit more of that heat to them, and not all of them do. So yeah, I thought I was going to get a big harvest, but I don't think these are quite ready, and I'm not ready to make cowboy candy or anything right now, so I'll leave these on the plants and let them get a bit bigger and a bit more ripe. But that's I guess that's my video that I'm putting together for today. Kind of a wacky one, but hopefully you got something out of it and enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.